we are going to be talking about the 3 musts for a lasting family business. And let's see what Richard has to say. Well, yes, Richard, I did say 1 in 1,000. And to repeat the question, what are the odds of your family business lasting 100 years? Because, what's it all for? Why are we making this money? Why are we putting on those long, desperate hours? Why are we giving it our all? Well, probably because you want your family to benefit, and you'd really like your family to last. What can you do to improve the odds? I mean, if the odds in general are 1 in 1,000, and I should quickly tell you where I get that figure. How many of you have heard of Dennis Jaffe? Some of you. Okay, he's worth knowing about because he's a hero of mine. He has spent the last 40 or so years studying family businesses and what makes them last. And so it's Professor Dennis Jaffe. He has a lot of academic knowledge of what makes things work. And I have practical experience because, as Richard mentioned, my family, actually he didn't mention, he mentioned that I come from the Sheraton family. The Henderson family, my father was the co-founder and president. The Henderson family began as a family business in 1840. And I see in the audience somebody who trumps me on that. And the Perdues have been in business for 102 years. So 182 and 102. Because I'm a writer by trade, I had a great interest in how did they do it? And let's see some of the things where both my observations and what Dennis Jaffe has learned, they match. And I'm going to share with you the 3 musts. And more important, I'm going to share with you some ideas of how to inculcate the musts. Let's start with no public quarrels. No public quarrels. What the biggest reasons that families don't make it to the next generation, and roughly 70% don't make it to the next generation, the biggest reason is family quarrels. How do you avoid them? And why is it important to avoid them? Well, actually, every family that exists is going to have quarrels, but by the time they're public, it's almost a bridge too far. I know a lot of family counselors who say they won't even accept as a client a family who, if they have taken their quarrel public in the sense that it's in the newspapers or they've taken it to adversarial lawyers, I mean, there may be families who can put it back together after that, but I don't know of any. Both the Hendersons and the Perdues teach family members I think I almost learned this when I was still in a high chair. You can argue, you can fight, you can scream if you need to, but the way the Hendersons put it is, we don't wash our family linen in public. And the way the Perdues put it, we call it the covenant. And the covenant is, again, you can fight as hard as you need to, but you don't take it public. Next, this is something, again, I get it from Dennis Jaffe, but it matches my own experience. He said that the families that last, probably by the 2nd generation, but almost certainly by the 3rd generation, they've discovered that philanthropy is just an amazing family glue. Because by the time you're in the 3rd generation, there are a lot of people who aren't working in the family business. On the other hand, the married-ins, the people who aren't part of the family business, they can all get the good feeling that you get from being involved in stewardship. And the 3rd must is, do you know what? I got that backwards. Stewardship. The families that last teach their kids from childhood that the family business isn't about them. Oh, I hope I'm going to say something that may be unpopular with some of you, but here goes. The kids have to be taught that the money isn't that you can go spend it lavishly. No, you're stewards, and it's your job to hand the family business over to the next generation in better shape than you inherited it. And so, yes, spend some of the money, but your real job, what you're there for, the families that last are taught this. What you're there for is to teach kids, preserve it and make it grow for the next generation. So Dennis Jaffe says that, and I agree with him, that the families that last teach their kids from the youngest age that it's about stewardship. Philanthropy. Well, I already mentioned philanthropy in the part about family glue. Let's jump ahead to how, I've given 3 principles. How do you inculcate this into the family? And I'm going to share with you first what the Hendersons do and then what the Perdues do. You're looking at John Cleves Sims Henderson from 1840, and he did something that I just recommend to absolutely everybody. It's worked brilliantly for the Hendersons. It works for the Perdues. He and his children got together and they endowed a family. It was called the Henderson Family Dinner. It's grown into the Henderson Family Weekend. But in 1890, he and his children put together money to have a get-together. And I bet everybody has seen what I've seen, which is a family, while the patriarch's still alive, the family's close, it's great. The patriarch dies, and for 2 or 3 years they get together for maybe Thanksgiving, other holidays. By the 5th year, maybe they get together for a wedding. By the 10th year, the family's gone poof. If you endow family vacations, this is a way of getting around it. This is a way of helping your family last. Service to the Family Award. The Hendersons, we want the family members to really figure out what they can do for the family rather than just what they can get out of it. And so every year we have, at our family reunion, we have a Service to the Family Award. And people win it for such things as, just to mention one, Roberta Henderson digitized 10,000 family documents. And there's a great big ceremony. The house that I grew up in has, as everybody else does, a ballroom. Whoever's laughing, thank you. We have a great big ceremony in which we read who the past winners were and applaud and just cherish the person who has just won it. So I recommend to everybody to inculcate the culture, a Service to the Family Award. Another one is we have a What It Means to Be Us book. And I brought a copy of it here, and I need my partner in crime, somebody to hand this around. Just start it and hand it around for the next. The What It Means to Be Us book. Just pass it around and let people look at it, and it may be circulating the rest of the day. Philanthropic activities. I mentioned that before, but this is just such a way to create family glue, especially in a family that's geographically separated. And here's one that the Hendersons do. We have a blood drive, and you get on the honor roll if you've donated blood. And every new donation, newsletters go out, people are praised. You get a really good feeling. And this is just a picture of one family member donating blood. Now on to how the Perdues embed the culture. We have something that I'm really proud of. It's called the children's newsletters. And with the children's newsletters, if you want your family members to absorb lessons from like the youngest age, I recommend a children's newsletter. But the children's newsletters that we have, every newsletter is about embedding one of the family values. One of the Perdue family values is being frugal. And so I tell the story of how great-grandmother Mummy Doo used to, when she'd bake her famous biscuits, particularly at Thanksgiving, she would bake the biscuits, but then when she took them off the baking sheet, it had been covered with aluminum foil, and after its use, she would wash the aluminum foil and reuse it, or save it for reuse. And that story is good, but it's not enough to really embed the culture. So every newsletter is accompanied with a treasure chest. And the treasure chest has an activity in it that will illustrate what the newsletter was about. And I'll show you what this one includes. It includes actually every treasure chest is going to include costumes because kids love costumes. This is a chef's hat. Here's a chef's apron. Here's here's biscuit mix, and here is aluminum foil. The kids get to bake their biscuits and talk with their grown-up about how we're a frugal family and we're an environmental family. We're into recycling. You don't throw away aluminum. That's who we are. The Giving Club. Children from about maybe 8 to 14 have a packet of money from the foundation, which they get to decide where it goes. And they get to research what category of thing they're interested in. Then they actually go call on the different charities. And this is from a very young age. But they actually have money that they can give out. And then the family gets together, or the children get together, and they decide where the money goes. And there are about 12 in the Giving Club, and they can each argue for where the money should go, or it could just be divided up. Just really great ways of getting them from a young age. And anybody who studies culture knows get them while they're young. Well, that's what we're doing. Family involvement in the company. And this is kind of on the subject of stewardship. During the pandemic, family members sewed, I'm going to guess it's close to 1,000 masks. And this was in a period when it was hard to get personal protection. And we would just sew. Perdue employs 22,000 people, so we didn't get everybody, but we got a lot of people, and I think it was very meaningful that family members personally sewed masks. Subway, I'm so proud of this. Family members got together and we voted, it was something like a couple of $100,000 of our own money to do the following. We knew that Perdue being an essential industry, the 22,000 people who are processing the food, it's hard times for them. We wanted to show them recognition. So what we did, and I wish it was my idea because it's so clever, with the money that we raised, we bought tickets for a couple of meals for each Perdue associate. And it was tickets at Subway, and that had the huge advantage of Subway has Subway stores or restaurants in every place where we have a processing facility. So Subway was kind of desperate with no traffic, and they're a big buyer of ours, so we love them dearly. So here we could have the associates buying food, and accompanied by a big gushy letter from us saying how important they were and how we valued them. This is a tornado that I mentioned the Kid Giving Club. The Kid Giving Club, when this tornado hit a town that was in a Perdue processing facility, at this meeting, one family member said, let's support the town that supports us. Let's give all our money to one place, and they did. And I just love that because each one, coming in had their own pet. Then we're also very involved in the LEAD program. And given that I don't want to run out of time because I consider it a sacred duty not to go over my time, and I've got 30 seconds left, to summarize: no public quarrels, stewardship, philanthropy. That's what I recommend to everybody, and I've got 19 seconds left. I'm just back from Ukraine. I spent 5 days there, and if you want to learn about what I learned as the guest of the head of police for Ukraine, and boy, did I see some things like Chernobyl and human trafficking, and I've been writing about it. My time's up. I love you all. Thank you.